Hey there, here we are again. Something I wanted to mention, I've noticed a trend lately, a new thing on YouTube, where when someone is talking, probably there's a program that does this now, all the pauses in between the sentences, it cuts them all out. So the speech goes like this, but, well, there's basically no pause, no stops in between. And, of course, these videos, I give you guys credit for not expecting to, get baby fed, stock footage of Tibet or hikers or, whatever, interspliced to keep your attention and stop you from cutting away. Because really, the pauses, like when you read a book, the pauses are important for reflection and digestion of what you're taking in. So what we have now, all this competition for the rapid fire blah, 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 is it's really like eating without chewing. And, you might get something out of that, but you're not going to get much. So anyway, that out of the way, we're not going to do it that way. And anyway, the subject for today is consciousness versus unconsciousness. Conscious life versus unconscious life. Now, I'm not trying to take the high ground here or be preachy, because I've done plenty of things myself which encouraged unconscious behavior, unconscious living. If you think of the resolution of a screen, it's 72 dots per inch, 72 dpi. Well, if you scan something, you can scan something at 1200 dpi. There's much more detail. And the thing about the screen, the internet, as much as it claims to give you something good, a whole lifetime of sitting in front of the screen does not give you as much information as this does in a fraction of a second. Now, you might say, well, that information isn't valuable. And I would say, well, it is valuable because consciousness has to do with the direct connection, better connection, basically, to the universe. So anyway, as I said, I've erred on the side of unconsciousness before. When I was younger, a teenager, we all smoked cigarettes, we drank like crazy, beer, liquor, whatever, get our hands on. We took acid, mescaline, LSD. We, did I say marijuana? Yeah, hash, all these things. And a lot of that kept going, over the years. Nowadays, hemp is legal. What do they call it? The Delta 8. Delta 9, Delta 8, I think. And, so anyway, what all these things do is they basically bring down the resolution of your experience. So rather than living in a complex universe with all these levels to understand, to grow, to enjoy, you're in a little room with 8 little toy blocks, or so. And you're playing with those and you're going, oh, I'm so happy because things are so simple. And of course, there are forces out there that want you to live this way. So they're going to sell you coffee, sugar, crap foods, get you to binge on movies or, collect things or all these kinds of things, which, nothing wrong with them in proportion, but when they're overdone, it leads to unconscious living. So, say for example, you live this way. You don't necessarily go anywhere much. Behaviors are repetitive. And hold on, someone was coming there. But behaviors are repetitive, and that's kind of life as you know it. And it's what life has become. And there's a certain comfort, in a sense, to it because of the limitations you've imposed upon yourself. But the question then is, what happens if all these things are removed? All the things that you thought that you were enjoying, that you repeated every day, and you removed them. And what would happen? Would the world become a frightening place? Would life become miserable, unhappy? Here's the biker bunch. Hello. So, where was I? Yeah, would you suffer? Would things get worse, or would they get better? Would it be like waking up, where all of a sudden things are expanding? Your perception is expanding. You're seeing more. Opportunities are opening up. And actually, that's precisely what happens. So if you imagine, this happens to people in prison, for example. It's like someone will go to prison, they've had lived a life of crime, and they could have been, drinking and drug pusher, taking drugs, sex addiction, whatever, all these things. And then they go into prison and, hopefully, all these things are taken away. And when they're taken away and the person is clean and has time and room to reflect, then all of a sudden they become very, well, maybe not all the time, but there are many examples of people becoming more and more lucid, more perceptive, more aware, and more conscious. So anyway, what I would say is that it's not something to be afraid of to put down these habits, these repetitive behaviors, because what you're really doing is just putting yourself to sleep. It's like taking sleeping pills. The world shrinks down. You've removed all the complexity, all the possibilities, and now it's down to this simple, ritual. And, repetitious behavior. With some people, I did a cartoon about Starbucks. I'll stick it up here right now. You can read it. And, coffee is a thing. A lot of people think, oh, I need this to get me going, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Gives me energy. And it's like, it doesn't give energy. It does not give energy. It only takes energy. Because what it does is it basically tricks your body into thinking that you're not tired. So in my own case, it's like I'd never drank coffee till I was 50 years old. Someone handed me a cup when I was in a shop. Said, oh, someone ordered this and they didn't come. Would you like it? And I accepted it because it was a gift. And I drank it, and it was some latte or something. Didn't taste bad or anything. So I started drinking them regularly. Had all this energy and stuff, it's crazy. It's like, wow, this is fantastic. And then I crashed. Basically had to sleep for 2 weeks. Now, admittedly, it affects people differently, but it's like taking out a loan. You're gonna have to pay it back. And people who have been doing this, day after day after day, year after year after year, it's like if you stopped, you'd be in bed for a month or more because of what it's done. So if you're locked into a set of habits like, getting stoned, drinking coffee, doing the same thing over and over again, and you think that's good, it may feel safe, it may feel comfortable, but all around you, doors are slamming shut. All the things that you could have done with your life, if your awareness, your consciousness had been increased, they just don't exist. All that exists is this little tiny world of addictions, repetitive loops, and unconscious behavior. So anyway, here's the boat ramp. I guess I could leave it there, but at any rate, I guarantee you that if you remove these things, you will not die, and life will become better.